Okay, so this is going to be a video on how to teach our dog to be quiet. Here, come. Here, sit, stay. This is a method. It's not the only method. This is more kind of the Ian Dunbar kind of method on how to teach your dogs to be quiet, which he also encourages you to teach your dog to speak as well, which she knows. This is the method I taught her on how to be quiet. Is she's an alert barker, so she barks when she hears weird sounds, or if there's someone at the door she doesn't know. She'll bark obnoxiously, unless I tell her to be quiet. Then she'll be quiet. So the first part of this is you have to get your dog to bark in the first place so you can teach them to be quiet. So kind of interrupting the bark when they bark to be quiet. That's what they're going to learn, is to bark, and then suddenly we get quiet and we get rewarded for it. First step is we need our dogs to bark. So for her, I'll probably knock on the door or the wall. When she starts barking, that's when we want to interrupt the barking with a quiet and capture the moment. As soon as they go quiet, even if it's for a split millisecond, you're going to mark that behavior with your reward marker, whether it be yes or a click or whatever, and then you're going to reward them. To begin with this process, have the treat in your hand that you're going to use to distract them with. So there, let's just say, I'll do the demo in a second, but sit. Let's just say she's barking, and I wave. This is a treat hand. It's got a sausage in it. Wave my hand in front of her and shush her like this. You could say shush. You could say quiet. You could say hush. Whatever you want. Whatever cue you guys want to use, go for it. But she has quiet on cue. So let's say she's barking. I whip out this treat hand, kind of wave it in front of her nose to get her attention like this. We want her to follow it to break that concentration of whatever she's barking at. Wave it in front of their nose, bring it straight to your mouth, say quiet. They may follow you to lick your hand. This is the very beginning stages. We fade out this treat fairly quickly and work in building that duration of the quiet behavior very quickly as well. So again, we wave it in front of their nose, quiet, and then yes, and reward them. I'm using something high value because my dog sure as heck won't, in the beginning stages of this, she wouldn't be quiet just for a measly baked treat item or something really low value. So I whip out the high value stuff because that's going to make the biggest impression for her. She's not going to work for free, so I'm going to use something that she really loves to help her realize what the more appropriate behavior is and the behavior that we're working on, what it is. Because if she's barking at something, she's really want to bark, I need to be able to break that attention when I'm working with her on this beginning stage and let her know, hey, attention's over here instead of over there with what she's barking at. Alright, so I'm going to try to get her to bark, and I have my treat ready in my hand. Feel free to use both hands, this, waving in front of her nose, quiet, waving in front of her nose, quiet, use both hands. So I'm going to knock, see what I can get out of her. Oh, who's here? Who's here? I may have to use the app on my phone. Yeah. Who's here? Who's here? Oh my goodness. Who's here? Who's here? Yeah. Speak. 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 Quiet. Yes. She knows this, so she knows what she's got to do. With your own dog, you may have to wave your hand in front of them for like a split, couple seconds instead of a split second like I did, because she knew what she needed to do. But in the beginning stages, you're probably going to have to wave it in front of their face, get their attention, have them follow your hand like this, guide up to your face, say quiet or shush or hush. As soon as they're quiet, yes, and treat. Okay, I'll get my treat ready in my hand. Speak. Speak. Yeah, really speak. Good girl. Speak. Good girl. Speak. Speak. Good girl. Speak. Good girl. Speak. Good girl. Speak. Quiet. Yes, good girl. few more times because she is hard to do this original demo on because she knows what she's got to do. Okay, speak. Good girl. Speak. Good job. Speak. Good. You can do it. Speak. Good. Speak. Speak. Because she usually knows when this hand comes out. I gotta be quiet immediately, so it's hard for me to do this demo on real quick, but we can do it. Speak. Good. Speak. Good. Speak. Quiet. Yes. Good girl. She'll be quiet immediately as soon as I say it, though. So, but that's eventually what's going to happen is you can say quiet. Even just, you don't even have to usually go like this. Even just saying quiet eventually is the end point that we're going to get at. And they stop being quiet, and then you can reward them with something after you get them away from whatever they're barking at. All right. Speak. Speak. Oh, yeah, good girl. Oh, yeah, good girl. Oh, who's here? Good. Speak. Speak. Yeah, good girl. Speak. Speak. Good girl. Woo, woo. Woo, woo. Yeah. Good girl. Speak. Quiet. Yes. You do it that way. Or you just, if you can get away with just showing it to them and being quiet, that's good too. Yeah, I know. You're too easy. What she's doing is she's doing kind of more single barks where it's just woof and woof when I'm telling her to speak. And those are harder to interrupt, but you want to be able to interrupt that bark. So if she's just doing woof for like 2 seconds, it's hard for me to interrupt as opposed to a dog that's going woo 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 woo. If they're barking multiple times in a row, you have a better chance of interrupting it. You don't, because you want to be able to interrupt it and not just wait till they're quiet after barking. You want to interrupt that behavior, reward them for being quiet, even if it's for a split second. For her, I can get away. She has this built into her duration, so she can be quiet for quite a bit, which I can demo as well. But again, you want to be able to interrupt this behavior. So if your dog's just barking single barks, it's kind of harder. You want your dog to be barking kind of repetitively, and then be able to break that concentration, break that behavior, interrupt that behavior, do it quiet, and then reward it as well. So, I'll do another one. Okay, speak. Who's here? Yeah. Speak. Good. Speak. Whoa, 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 whoa. Quiet. Yes, good girl. So that's eventually what you'll be able to do with your dog. I didn't have any treats in my hand. I rewarded her afterwards. She still got her reward marker and she knows what it means, so she knows she's gonna get rewarded. It just may be a second for me to get it and bring it out for her. It may not happen right away, but she got that reward marker as soon as she was quiet, and we built that, well, built the duration of quiet a little bit, and yes, then the treat. Eventually that's what it's gonna happen, so that way you don't have to rely on having the treats on you, but your dog has been so heavily reinforced for this behavior that they respond. Again, you're going to want high value items, high value reward item for them, because they're not going to do this for some dinky little crunchy treat, especially if they're barking from a hard trigger that's hard for them, like a doorbell or knocking on the door. Someone can go knock on the door while someone else is working on the quiet, especially if multiple people in the household that can help you out with that. You can also play sounds on your phone if your dog barks at certain triggers, like dogs barking, for instance. You can look up YouTube dogs barking to kind of help out with that. But again, just depends on what your dog does bark at. Dogs I've worked with have. So you just have to work really quickly on building that duration of the quiet behavior. So that way they don't build a behavior chain. We don't want them to build a behavior chain of going being quiet and then barking, and then back to barking, being quiet, back to barking, being quiet. So we build in that duration of the quiet behavior very quickly, so that way they're not building that behavior chain on their own of barking, quiet, barking, quiet, barking, quiet. So when you build in the duration, you basically just start off with, rewarding for a split second of quiet behavior, and then maybe a second and a half, and then 2 seconds, and 3 seconds, and 3.5, and 4, gradually building up the duration. You don't want to do a little demo of how to build in the duration of your quiet behavior, because we really need to work on that as soon as possible. Okay, ready? Speak. Good. Speak. Good. Speak. Quiet. Yes. So that's more of like a second and a half of quiet. Close to 2 seconds. And depending on your dog and what kind of stimulus you're working with, you may be able to get to this go through this pretty quickly, but it depends on what stimulus you're working with or what trigger you're quiet. Depends on the trigger you're using to get your dog to bark. Okay, speak. Good. Speak. 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 Oh. Quiet. Yes. So it's more 4-second quiet. Speak. Speak. Quiet. Yes. So it's more 6-second. 6-second quiet. So, down. Chin. So we're gradually building up the duration. We started off with 2 seconds, then 4, then 6. I'm not just going straight from 2 seconds to 10 seconds. That's not very fair for my dog, especially when they're first learning this behavior, and they're not going to be as successful with it as well. Not going to be as successful if you go straight from a very short duration behavior and then expecting a heck of a lot more of them right off the bat when they're first learning this. So we want to set them up for success, be able to go find it. Be able to build up that duration very gradually, and depends on your dog, depends on the trigger you're using to get them to bark. You may be able to get through this very quickly, or it may take a little bit. I know. You just want to work, I know. Yes. That's 8-second quiet. And then I just quieted her for being growly and being feisty and frustrated, because she wants to work and do more than what I'm asking her to, because this is very easy for her and she wants to do more. So you can do this not just for barking, but for growliness or any sort of vocalization that you don't like or you don't want. You can use it with that as well. Good, yeah. Good speak. Good speak. Good. Speak. Quiet. Yes. 10-second quiet. So that's just an example. That's, I would make it your goal to work to a 10 to 15-second quiet. Usually by that point, if your dog's barking at something and they're quiet for that long, you can distract them with other things. So let's say I did that, she's quiet, hey, quiet for 10 seconds. I can redirect her brain to doing other things. So she's quiet for 10 seconds, then we do a find it. Go find it, where'd it go? Go find it, where is it? Find it. Yeah, where is it at? Or we can target. Yes, good. The target behavior. Or you can just do basic obedience with your dog as well. After they're quiet, breaking that concentration, refocusing their brain to something more appropriate. She's doing a target on her own right now. I didn't ask it. She's offering it. Sit. That's not a sit. That's a sit. Down. Thank you. Chin. Good. So that's pretty much it for the beginning stages of learning to be quiet. Chin. Good girl. And adding in some duration to the behavior as well, because you're going to do that really quickly with this so they don't create those bad behavior chains. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. No? Sure. Good girl. But that's pretty much it. Yes, good girl. Very nice. Very nice. It's a little piece. Little piece is all you need.